So it begins again. Welcome to CreepGeeks Podcast. I'm Greg.
I'm Omi.
And this is Season 10, Episode 352.
Chariots of the Gods, Chicken Conspiracy, Conjuring House, Mount Baldy Bigfoot.
And that's it. So here we are. Welcome to the CreepGeeks Podcast. If this is your very first time tuning into the podcast, we're glad you're here. If you are a repeat offender, we're really glad to see you. So, yeah. All right. So anyway, we're going to move into the podcast. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. And this particular podcast is brought to you by Barley's Bites. And Barley's Bites is dedicated to providing top quality homemade dog treats for every doggo. And we do appreciate them. And they are super tasty. Jack will attest to that.
Yep.
And so, also, on a side note, we'd just like to say, Dave and Kristen, our hearts are with you.
Yeah.
And that's all we'll say about that for now. So, but anyway, if you'd like to pick up some delicious homemade all-natural treats for your dog or kitty, because they eat them too, go to Barley's Bites. You can go to barleysbites.com, and you can order from there.
Yeah.
And they're out of New Mexico. It's super cool. All right, so moving into the podcast, we'd like to talk about stuff we find to be strange and interesting and some of our experiences we've had along the way. And we broadcast from the mountains of western North Carolina, deep in an underground bunker, if you will, where we are currently under the threat of snow and ice. It's the same threat we have every year, but we find it harder to ignore post-Hurricane Helene. I know people probably get tired of hearing about it, but I don't care. Because it was a traumatic and awful experience.
Yep.
We were inconvenienced, but there were other people that suffered quite a bit. It was a pretty scary thing. So now when we hear about storms and threats of storms and things like that, we have a tendency to take them serious. So I made myself a 20-point checklist of things I need to do just in case.
20-point.
Yes. And after going through the checklist, I realized that most of those things I've already done from Helene and now do habitually, so I'm down to 3 things. Just make sure that Starlink is up and running, and make sure shit is charged, and that's pretty much about it.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, what happens if we lose power? We're going to be able to eat? Got 4 stoves. We can eat.
Okay.
Got stuff to eat. We can eat. Got full refrigerator, we got stoves, we got battery banks, solar panels, we got generator. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of our trick that everyone hates us about, right? They hate them for this simple trick. Here's a simple trick. If you're worried or live in an area where storms and things like that can be without power and suffer for days and days, just get a camper van. It's self-contained, man. It's got heat, it's got power. If you got all that stuff going on, you're good.
Yeah.
Then you can just take the crap in the camper van, put it in the house, and then when you're done, put it back outside in the camper van. Or you can just get in, turn the key, and drive away.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, that's cool and all, but see, I still have the part of me that says this, 15, 20, 30 inches of snow and this, terrible stuff we're going to experience. They've said that to us before, 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah.
They're like, you ready? Watch out, guys. This is the worst thing we've seen. And you know what happened? Nothing. It was like 58 degrees. And I was like, man, should I cut the grass? Blow the leaves around?
But then last weekend, on Saturday, because I had to wake up early on Saturday, it had snowed. And
yeah, but it was like a dusting, a pittance.
It was
decent,
nothing.
No.
But then it literally melted by the time I drove to my class.
Yeah.
So,
when we used to live in New Mexico, it was like that. It would snow pretty good, and you'd see inches, and then you're like, oh, no. And then 11 o'clock come around, it's gone.
Yeah.
So, which is, great, actually.
So, yeah.
Just enough to get you out of school. Well, actually, here they would shut down for like 3 days. Oh, my gosh. So I don't know. I think things were a little different when I was a youngster.
It's just funny because, we're talking about this snow, and we have a friend and listener who lives in Alaska. And it's just like, you mean Tuesday?
I chatted with him today.
Yeah.
Sort of through messages and stuff on TikTok. We share inane memes with each other, amongst other things. And he was like, it was colder in Kentucky than it was in Alaska.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by that.
Well, then.
Because I've seen enough Alaska shows to know it's cold.
Yeah.
Like it sucks. It's cold.
Yeah.
I don't have no part of that.
But then, like, in my office, everyone was complaining, like, even if we get some snow, it's going to be awful. Oh, and I was like, y'all get on Facebook or Reuters or New York Post right now. Russia got 6.5 feet or over 2 meters of snow just now.
Yeah, but that they're used to that.
It's not like Siberia part of Russia. It's like
a good chunk of Russia is cold and snowy.
Yeah,
all the time. But see, that's just it. If we got 6.5 feet, or whatever meters, right? I mean, that would shut us down for a month. They're like, ah.
Yeah, that's true.
They're used to it. That's like, okay, let's use England, for example.
Yeah.
Europe, for example. Those people over there, right?
Yeah.
They have a heat wave. And people are dying and they're locked. Oh, my God, I can't survive. And it's like 88 degrees.
Yeah.
What? And I understand they're like, well, it's different area. No, it's not. We make our houses to be insulated. So do we. It's lame.
The people are different.
It doesn't matter.
No, because I was watching.
You can't sit there and tell me. And then the worst thing is they try to compare it to the U.S. Our summers are worse than in the U.S. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I can take a shower, go outside, and guess what? I've taken another shower. But England, you don't need a sweat rag.
It's the people. The people are different. I was watching a Southerner, and he was doing a video basically saying how in England, that is a different type of people. The people who can tolerate the heat are the people who colonize the world, first. Second, in England, they don't know that the change in temperatures is not something they've been used to the point where...
That sounds pretty weak sauce to me.
To the point where it explains why they don't eat spicy foods, because it raises their internal temperatures and their parasympathetic systems
that is
cannot
an excuse
compensate.
For having weak fortitude.
Yeah.
The blandest food country out there is for sure England. But to say that, it's too spicy. No, you know what? That's weak fortitude. And that's exactly why in 1776, we're like, no. It's like we like hot sauce and freedom, and we're going to have it. Right? And it's like, the spiciest thing you could get over there was like cinnamon.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's like, get out of here, man.
Saffron, oh my goodness.
Yeah, oh no. And then I did see where they were saying you could, something about, how many, basically fighting like 100 people, like could a American fight, who would win in a fight with like an American and 100 British or something like that, or whatever, man. And the British were like, oh, and it's like, do you really want some of this? You really, come on. I don't know. Whatever, man. We're not going to talk too much about the British because they're on my list right now.
Okay.
Oh, you made a Facebook post. Let's put you in jail now. Well, people think that, England and Britain in general are free. They're not. It's a socialist country. You can't talk shit about them.
Anywhere.
And now they're like, here we go, guys. We're going to lock you up and stuff. No, man.
Anywhere you need a license to watch television, no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can try it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't watch anything on, BBC sucks. I'm not paying no license fee. So, yeah.
They got like, 2 shows and that's about it.
I don't know. It's, well.
Yeah.
Because if you came to my house saying, you're watching TV, you need to pay. I'm like, you can kiss every bit of my American butt.
Well, let me go dump your
No
tea
thanks,
in the
dude. I stream
lake.
everything. Or prove it. Yeah, whatever, man. Anyway, what were we going to talk about? I forgot all about it now. It's like, okay, here we go. See, I'm all rattled. My checklist is basically complete. I'm not doing anything to it. We have enough water. We got enough electricity. We got enough heat stuff. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario, if things got super dire, you can go cut a tree down and set it on fire. You can set the whole house on fire and be warm. It's like we have ways of surviving. So, okay, so every so often people call into the podcast if we ask a question and they answer, which is super cool, or leave a message or whatever, whatever needs to happen there. And they do. And we like to play it. And that's what we're going to do. We have a lovely message for you to listen to. And you want to hear? Here, go.
I just heard your new episode, and I love the sound of the new sound equipment. I think both of your voices sound really richer and fuller and more resonant. There seems to be, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a sound geek, but, it just sounds better. I really like it. And I just want to let you know, I'm really proud of you guys for getting some new sound equipment. It's, I'm not up on the sound stuff, but I think it sounds amazing. So keep up the good work. This is Sarah calling from Kansas.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah, calling from Kansas. We're very much glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty cool. Like, heck yeah. Money well spent, I guess.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
Watch this episode have.
Yeah, this episode's like, it just sounds like.
Yeah.
Why do they sound like they're chewing with garbage? Not garbage, I was going to say gravel.
Gargling with marbles.
Garbling?
Gargling with marbles.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Okay.
Who is that ancient Greek philosopher, I think, who basically was trying to get rid of a stutter, had a mouthful of pebbles?
Is this a joke?
No.
Okay.
I think it was Greek. I don't know. I think his name was Stutteropolis or something like that. So, and also on top of that, I didn't realize this, but evidently the Aurora Borealis made its way to NC and missed it again, and somebody sent us a picture. So I tried to include that in the show notes because everything we talk about on the podcast is available at CreepGeeks.com, and you can see our show notes and stuff, and you can click the links and follow along, and hopefully the picture will embed properly. But if it doesn't, just rest assured it looked neat. So are you looking up Stutteropolis?
The Greek orator Demosthenes.
That's not how you say that.
Demosthenes.
Okay.
Yes. Was said to treat his speech impediment by talking with pebbles in his mouth and shouting above the roar of a fire or the roar of ocean waves. Okay.
Well, I can see how that would help with enunciation and diction.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right, since our last podcast, Eric von Donigan passed away. Donigan, depends how you want to say it. Don't correct me. And if you don't know who he is, he wrote a pretty influential book called Chariots of the Gods. Mm-hmm. And it was basically the idea of the whole ancient alien theory is pretty much where it started. I remember watching In Search Of in the 70s, and it talked about Chariots of the God, and it laid it out there. And I was like, whoa, because I was a youngster.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one that affected, because, I mean, you got the whole ancient alien theory and all of that, and alien influence and alien technology, how it shaped our civilization.
This was on the bookshelf when I was growing up, right next to Dianetics.
Yeah, which is, I think they did him a disservice. If you're a big L. Ron Hubbard fan and Dianetics and all that stuff, and
yeah,
I mean, that's cool and all, but
these were like,
I don't think he should have been right next to him. But it was a very popular book when it came out. It still is a popular book.
I mean, this was a type of book that my mom had on her bookshelf. So
a lot of people had it.
Yeah, a lot of Whitley Strieber too.
Yep.
So
Chariots of the Gods, Unsolved Mysteries of the Past.
Yeah.
So he passed away. I'm not exactly sure how he passed away, but he's relatively ancient. But see, that book was written in like 1968 by Van Daniken.
Oh, wow. 1935 to 2026.
That's a long ride.
90 years old.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so the main idea of the book was that extraterrestrial beings had basically influenced our civilization, or just the humankind, right? Mm-hmm. With ancient technology. Talked about ancient structures and artifacts that seemed to be created with more sophisticated technological knowledge than would have been currently known at that time. Like, how did they do that? The pyramids and things like that. So, yeah. And so he maintained that artifacts and structures and stuff like that were produced by either extraterrestrial visitors or by humans who learned the necessary knowledge from extraterrestrials. Mm. So, ancient pyramids, Stonehenge, the Moa of Easter Island, all of that sort of thing. So basically, if you watched Ancient Aliens, it's pretty much based off what he said. Yeah. And it's been expanded from there. So, Yeah, pretty influential figure in all of it. The whole phenomena.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I
always got him and Zaki Hawass.
Zahid Hawass.
Don't correct me. You can't pronounce it either.
Zahid Hawass.
Okay, Zaki Hawass, whatever. You're like, oh, I know this name. So but yeah, I used to get them mixed up quite a bit.
I don't know.
Just by name, not by how they look.
I like some of Eric Von Daniken's theories. I think it's plausible. I think some of the examples do fall into... They kind of fall apart a little easily.
Well, yeah, anything falls apart when it's conspiracy.
And then I had heard a talk from somebody a while back that some of the arguments were dismissive of the accomplishments of smaller cultures.
Yeah, like who?
Polynesians.
Okay, how did they do it?
We have yet to figure that out. But to say it's...
That's exactly the point of what he's trying to make, to say that there was some influence involved. And, okay, so for every one of the instances that people say, oh, that's pretty weak, there's another example of like, oh, wow, I can't explain that either. Like the pyramids, for example. If you look at what's been going on recently in the past year or so with the pyramids and scans and things showing what possibly may be underground or under pyramid structures that go down hundreds and hundreds of feet, it sort of changes things. The pyramids are not just a pyramid stuck on top of the soil with a foundation. Evidently, it looks like it goes way deeper.
Okay.
Way deeper. So it just, for every instance where we think that, this is completely a man-made thing with no problems at all, there is something that comes along and says, how the hell did that happen? Now, the easiest way to influence a decision when it comes to determining whether alien technology is it or if it's just a past civilization is just to kind of look at it from a couple different perspectives, right?
Okay. One
perspective is somebody came and showed us the way. Another perspective is it's always been like that. And we're on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th cycle of humankind.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of leaning towards more whatever. And then you can look at it from another perspective going, well, it's really not aliens. It's us from the future directing the past. And by, having like great teachers that show up like Quetzalcoatl and all those guys, and, in the end, we really don't know. It's just you pick the best one for you. And I kind of think that this is not the first. We've been wiped out multiple times. And so we have no idea how far along humankind has gotten before it's been wiped out and started over again. If you look at some of the structures and stuff, you would think an alien or an alien technology or an alien influence would change the way it looks. Like, I wouldn't think it would be so terrestrial looking. Everything we have looks like that belongs on Earth.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like something I would expect to see from an alien culture or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. When you watch sci-fi, it's a lot of you're like, ooh, that's weird. That's alien.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It doesn't look like that. Like, why would you make structures look a certain way when they don't make sense? If you look at like spheres and things like that, there are certain shapes that work better to protect you from the elements, the environments, from wind, from all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're not square boxes.
Yeah.
They're not pyramid shapes. They're not any of that stuff. It's like a sphere or you build into the ground or under the ground. So you'd think if an alien race showed up and said, hey guys, instead of building your weird looking structures on top here, let's do this. I would think that they'd be, I don't know how to, maybe I'm not articulating it the right way.
No, I see where you're going with that. But we do have examples that kind of, like, the pyramids actually go way deeper, or the Mayan and South American pyramids and stuff like that. Those are good examples of, that kind of does look like aliens helped with that one. You know?
It's a step, those are step pyramids. They look like they'd actually be easier to make.
Also, their languages are pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Thing is, no matter how much we look at all this stuff, and you could read all the crap you want, we're never really going to know.
Yeah.
But the fact that he put it out there on Onigan and made it to where it's like, hey, look at this book. I have my theories.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are still relevant, I guess, if you're looking into it. But yeah, I just remember In Search Of them being like, holy moly. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now there are, some people out there that will basically tell you that, oh no, this was purely built by these people. And then you look, well, what about this and what about that? And they want to argue with you about it. Talking about Zaki Hawass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I've spent time in Egypt, and I honestly can't see them having done that. Build pyramids and stuff. I understand civilization falls off and you don't necessarily get the best representation of the golden age of whatever, but it's kind of like, I don't know, man. I think that they were around a whole lot longer and were inherited. Hey guys, look at this. I'm going to claim this. Now, you can try to mimic and imitate, and those are obvious pyramids when you see that they've been recreated or whatever, and they obviously don't fit. You're like, what is that? And then you look at the ones over there, you're like, how did they do that? So I can't see that entire group of people being the ones who created those pyramids, because the pyramids, the way we see them now, are not how they used to look. They were covered in alabaster and all sorts of stuff, and were wonderfully shaped. And
where I lend credence to like Eric von Daniken's theories and stuff like that is just the concepts of the pyramids, because like we're learning through TikTok and through videos that have been leaked from closed off areas like China. China has pyramids, South America has extensive
there's
elaborate
pyramids everywhere. We have pyramids here.
Yeah. And then we have some form of pyramid, and we have some form of, elaborate pyramid, at least on almost every continent. Now that is where I'm like, did humanity all at the same time or different times come up with the concept of the pyramid? Or did somebody land someplace and go, well, they made us landing pads over there in Egypt. Well, maybe you guys should make us some landing pads.
I kind of think that back in the olden days,
yeah,
that's how everything was in that iteration of man.
Okay.
Like now, the most common house shape is a square or a rectangle.
Yeah.
All over the planet. It's uniform. So if you were looking at it, like, look at this. And why did they all build the same way? Did one person show up and show them how to do all that? Or was it a society thing? Where were they influenced from? We went from pyramids to rectangles.
Yeah.
And squares. Maybe it was domes before that.
Well, see,
spherical things.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, so indigenous cultures.
Go back millions of years with this.
In indigenous cultures in North America and parts of Asia were using domes. And we can see that because the whole Bering Strait, possibly the dome structure was brought over from Asia. But then I don't see many domes in other continents. Or maybe they were just destroyed. I don't know. So
yeah, we'll never know. That's the entire point.
Yeah.
So who knows, man? We'll never know. Especially if this storm comes in.
Oh, shut up.
We'll never know.
I would say it.
That's why the easiest thing to say is everybody's right and everybody's wrong. It's just kind of like, all right. And it's whoever has the best argument, right? And then you'll always have somebody like, that's completely crazy.
Yeah.
We all know that the last iteration of man lives underground with the reptiles, the reptilians, and the inner earth and those theories. Or they'll say, well, we're all inside one of the 7 rings. Like with the whole Tartaria and Mur, the lands outside of our lands, with a deadly ice wall that nobody can go past. That's why you can't go into Antarctica and all that stuff. Okay. I think the real reason why you can't go into the Arctic and Antarctica is not because of that. Like you're going to run across the other races of humans that, or terrestrial
humanoid creatures.
Yeah. It's not because, I think it's just because when you start looking at things like, can I shoot a missile from here to there? Is it easier just to launch nuclear missiles from that spot than it is from this spot over here? And it's like, if the answer is yes, then you should put a base there. And then when you look at other ways or other things like, how can I protect this country from these other countries? This is a great strategic thing. Let's put a base there. And so the easy answer is nobody can do it. So if nobody does it, nobody has to worry about it. The whole nuclear detente from the Cold War.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's a whole generation of kids that have no idea anything at all about the Cold War and why it even exists in the first place. They just read about it 2 or 3 lines in a history book and move on. So there are lands that are way more strategically important, for protection. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. I do like some of the artifacts that and statues and references and things that he kind of pointed out as being, this is from aliens. Because I do kind of look alien, but yep. So anyway, you gonna talk about chicken farms, chicken farm conspiracy? So let's give us a little bit of backstory here. We were talking and have talked on the podcast about how our food manufacturing plants and facilities just all of a sudden started catching on fire and they were just being destroyed. And you're like, oh my gosh, and it had like 7 or 8 of them, and all of a sudden all of our processed crap food was just being destroyed. And then all the prices started to go up.
Wasn't that like 2021, end of 2020?
It seems like it was only yesterday.
Okay, yeah. So,
but then all the prices went up, and it's just like, And then you start looking at things, and well, it looks like it may be happening again, if this is even a theory at all. But
I have the theory because I'm just noticing it. I've done some casual grocery shopping because we haven't done our little let's all pack up in the van and do a big giant grocery trip. So when I've stopped into the 2 grocery stores that are closest to my work, I've noticed there's not a lot of chicken on the shelves. There's also not a lot of some other stuff that we like to buy too. But specifically it was chicken for the past few days. Well, then I started getting, because, Facebook's always listening or something. I started getting these little news reports saying how a chicken farm in Georgia had burned down. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. But then literally the next day, I got a chicken farm in Western North Carolina burned down. And it was 86,000 chickens killed in the poultry farm fire. And this was a small Western North Carolina town. I believe it was, where was this one? Oh, no, I think it's Andrews. Yeah, I think it was Andrews, North Carolina. Estimated property damage and loss of chickens over $5 million. The investigation is still ongoing. That was the 20th, so only about a day. But we've had chicken farm fires in Georgia, Western North Carolina, and now Texas.
yeah,
So all of these fires, with the exception of the Texas one, are under investigation. The Texas one, they are assuming that it was somebody violating a burn ban in the county that the chicken farm was in. Now, that still means still under investigation, but they're assuming that some trash caught on fire and somehow got onto the farm and burned the whole farm down. Mm. So my thing is, this is 3 chicken farms in different areas that have burned down. This is going to cause a chicken shortage, whether it's eggs or poultry.
Well, they've been talking about there's going to be food shortages, right, for years, but all of a sudden, they just blame it on different things.
Yeah.
But what I think is kind of weird about this entire thing, you're worried about it, right? You're like, oh man, there's not enough food stuff that I like to have as a human that makes me happy and content.
Yes.
So, and you're like, I wonder why that is. And all of a sudden, you're fed all the answers to your questions. Now you should be happy and content and keep moving on. You're like, oh man, I sure do wish I could find some cat food. And then magically you're given cat food, or at least the place to get the cat food. And then you're so happy and you move back into your life and you keep your head down and just keep on being sheep. Something is so smart that in order to keep us all pacified, if you just provide the information, right? You're like, oh, I'm not going to worry about that. Let me move on to the next thing. Who do you think makes that sort of thing happen? Is it AI?
An algorithm.
Is it? Well, that's all really AI is algorithms. But it's like, it just seems to be more attuned and it's so easy to do. And you're like, oh man, I have these questions, but now my question has been answered and I'm okay. I'm just going to move back into be a productive.
I'm not okay with
I'm using it as an example, not you specifically. It's not all about you. It's about all of us as humans, right? And they say, well, it's all cookies. How do you make people happy? How do you keep the kids in line? You give them cookies. I'm telling you, man, there's something to this. And then other people will say, well, it's all a simulation. And that's what the simulation does to keep you in line, to keep the program running. Because you're just an NPC in somebody else's game, right? We're all NPCs.
But if we go by that theory, then I'm going to start saying, hey, why are Pepperidge Farms Brussels cookies so affordable? And I'm going to keep saying that.
And they're going to go, they're not affordable. They are an exclusive, delicious, delectable thing.
But if I can
that you should pay more for.
Searching why is chicken expensive and it feeds me these answers, then I can search why are my favorite cookies so affordable, then the simulation.
Yeah, but you were actually searching for why is it unavailable, not why is it expensive. That's just and you say, oh, well, your chicken places that give you the chicken have burned to the ground.
Why are my favorite cookies
so that's why you
cheap?
got to pay more.
Where can I find my favorite cookies?
You're saying, why are my favorite cookies so cheap? And they're like, well, but you should be like, why are my favorite cookies so expensive? And they're going to go, no, they're not expensive. You're just looking in the wrong place. Look here. They're only $3.98 a bag instead of $5.98. You should go here. Oh, wait, would you like a coupon for Pepperidge Farms? That's how this works.
Okay, then let's get on that train, everybody. Everybody search for Pepperidge Farms Brussels cookies.
And then you know what's going to happen? And then you're going to flip the bag around. It's going to say made with genetically modified food stuff, Soylent Green, whatever, man.
Burnt down chicken farm ingredients.
I mean, I just think it's kind of suspect that you have these huge chicken places that are all of a sudden just burning down. It's like the 5 food factories just magically just burned to the ground. Yeah, they've been around for a long time. Now they burned to the ground and all the prices went up. What's going on, man? Something's weird.
Oh.
Just, hey, if you allow cookies, we can make you more happy. Joke's on you. Your selection doesn't mean anything anyway. You're like, I don't want to give you no cookies. I'm like, okay, cool. Go ahead and click this box. All the cookies. We're taking them all. Catch us later. It's not going to happen. Can't breathe out of my own nose. All right, man. So you should talk about this robbery suspect accused of. Maybe I should talk about it. Did you see it?
I didn't mean to have you put this one in, but sure.
Well, I put it in purely for the title of the article that I was looking at, and it said robbery suspect accused of twisting loss prevention officer in sensitive area to escape with Hershey's chocolate. So what do you think that means?
I broke down and totally misunderstood this whole sentence. Because I was like, okay, so somebody had
to write the title out saying this person grabbed this other person's junk, gave it a twist to escape.
And see,
went straight for the family jewels.
Sensitive area, for some reason I was like, the stock room? The manager's office? I don't know why. I was just reading this title way wrong, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Sensitive area. Top secret area, like that subway at NORAD? Yeah, no.
That's what I thought.
So a woman is accused of twisting loss prevention officer in a sensitive area to escape with Hershey's chocolate.
And lady products.
I get it. It doesn't make it right. Mm-hmm. So she put this guy in a nutcracker so she could get her lady products and chocolate and get the hell out of there. I mean, it is in some ways understandable, but it is still illegal and you can't do that. Loss prevention officer is your store security. The ones that follow you around in places like Walmart or my favorite, Michael's. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me walk around and follow you. It's like you don't have anybody to ring anybody out so they can get out of here. You got to make them self-check out and stuff, but you got plenty enough money to have like 5 or 6 dudes follow you around the store because you look unusual to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this, according to this report though, police say a loss prevention officer attempted to stop the suspect on her way to her car, but she pushed the officer and she grabbed him. She also allegedly lunged at a store manager. So afterward, the suspect exited the vehicle, grabbed the asset protection personnel's left nipple and twisted it, causing him to feel pain.
So, well, I mean, I gave him an old purple nurple.
Here's the best part. The suspect, whose last name is Altz, has a bond set at $75,000.
That's pretty serious.
The items that the suspect stole allegedly cost $16.21. So 2 bags of Hershey Kisses and a package of
lady products.
Going
to cost her probably some jail time. Well, you know what? You can't do that kind of stuff to people. And you probably shouldn't steal.
Yeah.
Just saying. If you grow up and you don't steal stuff, it's a less of a likelihood that you'll have to go to jail. It's not yours. Don't take it. Mm-hmm. There's rules of acquisition. If you ever have to acquire something, I guess.
But
don't break the law. Don't go to jail, hopefully.
Yeah.
Now, there are some one-off cases, of course.
But
twisting. You shouldn't be assaulting people by twisting sensitive parts.
She must have been in a really bad mood. I mean, she lunged at the store manager. She pushed an officer, and then she gave somebody raging. A purple nurple or whatever. Yeah. You know, that is a bad day.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
What are you gonna do? Did you hear about that crazy lady?
Yeah.
Yep. So speaking of crazy, we actually talked about the Conjuring house being for sale and all sorts of stuff that was going on with the Conjuring house. And, you know, people got involved because the lady that was running the Conjuring house was, you know, a little nutty. Mm-hmm. And then Jason Haas got involved because I guess his daughter was there working there. And overall, it became just a weird situation where she didn't want to pay because she said that the spirits were telling her that one of the people that actually worked there who gave up a lucrative career, or at least a career that had benefits and medical benefits and stuff like that, to go work there. That didn't work out. And then she went off on a tirade about Jason Hawes for whatever reason. That created more problems. And I guess eventually, with all the fines and stuff and everything. Anyway, it became like it looked like it was going to be for sale. And then there was the idea that, you know, Jason Hawes was going to raise some money and buy the place. And then Matt Rife came along with his other YouTube buddy, who I can't remember his name. And they allegedly bought it, but they paid the back tax and stuff, but they didn't get the title. So now this whole thing is convoluted, and evidently nobody can own this thing right now.
Yeah.
And it's because it was like,
oh, wow.
Good news, guys. We bought it. We got it. Everything's going to be cool with them. We're like, yay. And then not even 2 months later, guess what? I don't own it. Neither do you.
Yeah.
You know, but and you got people acting like I'm just going to keep on buying it no matter what.
And this went from bad luck paranormal, because bad luck in itself can be a phenomenon.
Yeah.
To, no, this is now just straight up Judge Judy. I mean, this isn't, this is interesting for people who thrive on drama, but it's not like constant bad luck or misfortune.
No, it started with this crazy lady, and then it's kind of gone from there. Like,
because like the sale being canceled because the YouTuber Elton Castee bought bought the mortgage but not the deed.
Yeah, yeah.
Jason Hawes did manage to raise the $1.3 million.
Right.
But then a hearing on Wednesday showed that the documents had been improperly notarized.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. And then all this other stuff just goes back to putting everyone at square one. Nobody has the capacity to buy the house. The house is currently in limbo until the estate, and this is boring lawyer stuff, the estate needs to be square, you know?
Well, yeah.
There needs to be a deed in line with the existing mortgages that are out. Whoever is not of sound mind needs somebody to have power of attorney right now.
Well, a while ago when we were looking into it, it was like this happens quite a bit. You have a mortgage, you're paying on your mortgage, and then all of a sudden your mortgage company or the institution which you have your mortgage through sells your mortgage.
Yeah.
And if it's a nice sort of transaction, you have a tendency to know who you're paying after that. They send you letters and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have no idea that your mortgage has been sold. And you keep paying the first financial institution, who they may reach out and go, stop paying us. We actually sold your mortgage. Or they just keep taking money. And then while they're taking your money, your mortgage is now going into default because you didn't make 4 payments because you paid the first bank. You paid the first bank for 4 months. They just kept taking your money because they don't know what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
And so now you're way behind. And then the other mortgage company's like, we're going to foreclose because you haven't been paying. And it's just a thing. And then let's go ahead and add the scare tactic commercials that you see on TV. My house was bought and paid for. I paid on it for 30 years. And then I got a phone call saying I was being evicted because my mortgage was bought, where somebody went down to the courthouse and just bought your mortgage. So there was some sort of shenanigans going on with the mortgage and the title deed and all that stuff from the very beginning. And yet you got, Matt Rife and his paranormal buddy, YouTuber, thinking that they're doing the right thing to get the place by buying the mortgage. And you got Jason Haas, who's raising the money to buy it outright. He can't buy it. Matt can't, and his buddy, I can't remember his name, Elvis, whatever that guy's name was. They can't buy it either because nobody knows what's really going on.
Yeah.
And I think the person that set this entire thing in motion that sort of screwed up the entire process by not doing their due diligence was the crazy lady. So she probably didn't own it at all. So, and she was kind of nutty because, Jason Hawes put out the text messages and stuff like that. Like, look at this. Because she was saying some pretty awful, terrible stuff that if you didn't know Jason Hawes or how he felt about things, the paranormal and all that stuff, you would think this guy is a real dirtbag.
Yeah.
And some criminal action needs to be taken. So she was trying to destroy his reputation and stuff. And he has his own business. He's not just necessarily a full-time kind of guy.
Yeah.
When it comes to the paranormal and ghost hunting and stuff. So the whole thing is trash. And we're going to wait to see what happens and who buys what. And it won't be long before eventually something will happen. If they can't make it work the correct way, then maybe the city will come in, the county will come in and take it. County's going to get paid. All this is going to go down. And somebody's going to be like, you haven't paid none of the county taxes or city, taxes for the area it's in haven't been paid. So we're going to take it. And they'll sell it at an auction. Some random person will buy it at an auction, right? Because I think the property is worth way more than anything else that's involved with it. It's like millions of dollars or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's trash. It's all garbage. Conjuring house. I mean, who wants to go there? I mean, how much income has been lost? Because, people want to go to the Conjuring house. It's been on all the paranormal shows, and it's scary and all that.
Part of it because...
Oh, and remember the crazy lady was like, you went to the Conjuring house, any evidence you find, I need to have a part of that?
Yeah.
And people were like, no.
But then nobody could keep accurate records to determine what the actual profits of those things are.
There's no way to determine the value of it because she didn't understand how social media works.
And I'm sorry, paranormal and woo-woo aside, if you're making a business out of the paranormal, you need QuickBooks or something, know?
I mean, yeah, but
so
her thing is that she felt like that she wasn't getting enough monetary compensation for the reach and everything that people have with social media. Well, it's like, and the people that really sort of kicked back on it were these youngster paranormal investigators that are super popular on YouTube that you've never heard about, that every video they put out's got millions of views. And they're like, you can pack sand, lady.
Yeah.
Because she was trying to say that she wanted a part of all the revenue from those videos in perpetuity.
Yeah.
So if those guys, have their video out on YouTube and they get paid monthly from it, she wanted some of that money every single day. And it's like, hold on, I rented the space to come in and do this and you agreed to it. You don't get to have essentially royalties from this video revenue, because that's the kind of thing that people that have no idea how YouTube works, they just think, oh, you got, $100 million off this video. I want money.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's a variable thing that happens all the time. That video may have only generated maybe 10 or 15 grand. That's it. And that video will die because the next month that you might get paid for that video, it may only generate $100.
And that does speak to like a larger misunderstanding of things, because at what point does your investment or providing of lead to the equivalent of song royalties or anything like that?
A lot of customers have an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah. Like, it's 60-40, but then, it just might be 40 of 30 cents at some point. And nobody except for a big corporation has accountants to do that. Nobody.
Yeah.
So, you might be paying the patent on the Xerox mouse for 30 years, but that's because Xerox and the other big tech companies could afford that accountant, not Joe Schmo with a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And it's also a completely different category.
Yeah. So.
Because you've got one's a tangible and one is not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, how do you pay for fame? At what point does fame lose its value? Arnold Schwarzenegger during his movie prime, he's worth,
Yeah.
kabillions of dollars. Now, not so much.
Yeah.
So do you want to, what rate do you pay? So it's a sliding scale.
Yeah.
So it's hard to wrap your head around it. But that lady caused a lot of problems to this whole thing, just being kind of nuts. This whole thing is just kind of terrible because it's gonna get to the point where it's just gonna go away if they don't get it figured out. Now, somehow or another, Jason Hawes and Matt Rife and the other dude are going to have to get together and figure out how they're going to approach this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard. If legally, if it gets separate, and Hawes is like, I'm trying to buy the whole thing, and they're like, well, too bad, we own the mortgage.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get paid. And the best thing to do would be for them all to get together and come up with some sort of partnership. But is anybody actually going to profit off of it?
Yeah.
And I don't mean profit as in, sweet, I own it, I got lots of money, but profit as in, hey, we feel good about this. We want to keep using it the way it is and do investigations to preserve what we think is going on there, the paranormal future of that, like a win for both of them. Who knows? Or all three of them. Or it might be an arbiter steps in and says, none of you guys own it. You all bought it wrong. You all did it wrong. The paperwork was wrong. Everything is in dispute. So nobody wins nothing.
Yeah.
At which point somebody's going to have to sue to get the money back that they've already spent. It's nasty. It's all dirty.
That makes me wonder, did Jason already spend that money? That's...
I think he tried to, but no.
Okay.
So, yeah, who knows? It becomes real with whoever actually winds up taking possession of it.
Yeah.
It's all dispute. And to be honest, at this point, I don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
you could, in places like that, you rent. If you want to go do a ghost investigation, if you've got the money to rent the place for the night, that's on you, right?
Yeah.
It's going to get to where nobody can do it. Yeah. Hey, come rent the Conjuring house. It's only $2,000 a night.
No, that reminds me because, nobody can rent because that's like, I didn't.
Or, hey guys, yeah, you can rent it, but you can't make any money off of it. You can't make a video. You can't do any of this stuff. It's like, you're missing the point. I want to document my experiences, but you tell me I can't do that and I can't share my experiences unless I give you a bunch of money on top of the money I've already spent.
Yeah.
Whole thing is just nasty.
So, but yeah, there was this one place where it was like, I guess they stopped renting because of the damage, not just in business name, but like Google reviews and physical property damage that was being done by paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then paranormal investigators or alleged ones being told, I'm sorry, you broke a bunch of lamps because you were wandering around in the dark with no flashlights.
Yeah,
or
you broke stuff you should pay
you
for
broke
stuff.
this old painting, you know. So
and they should put a little thing in there. Hey guys, Airbnb rules apply.
Yeah.
You break it, you bought it. Make sure
Yeah.
Yeah. And then people also making the reviews where nothing happened. This place gets a 0, whatever. It's like, this place sucks. The Wi-Fi was really bad.
Which actually
I couldn't live stream.
happened to a hotel location south of us.
It's happened to all the national parks.
Oh, yeah.
This place sucks. Wi-Fi is terrible. Grand Canyon, thumbs down. I couldn't even, whatever.
But yeah, apparently a haunted location to the south of us, one of the Google reviews was like that. So that was part of the reason they stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And which is pretty sad because we're in the age of, hey, the consumer is not always right and let's aggressively defend.
Yeah.
They should stick like Wendy's on them or something.
Yeah.
So speaking of Mount Baldy Bigfoot.
Okay.
I thought this was kind of scary, but we should probably talk about Loch Ness. We haven't talked about Loch Ness for a while.
Okay.
We did every year. We give the number of sightings and things like that. And Loch Ness, and then we actually argued about the whole eel thing. Well, they found upon a large abundance of eel poop DNA. And they said, well, Loch Ness Monster is actually an eel. And that dude got lamb blasted.
Yeah.
I said, well... So, Loch Ness Monster hump was captured by a Nessie enthusiast on a trail camera, according to the Daily Record. And so if you click the link and you take a look, it looks exactly like all the other Nessie footage sightings out there. A little ripple on the water and a little thing sticking up, and like, there it is, guys. That's Nessie.
Oh man, I had to reopen it because
That's our new alleged sighting.
When you try to click on the second image, it just really messes up your ability to go back and read the article.
Yeah.
But this is on a trail camera.
Yep.
And
trail camera evidence is the worst evidence.
Yeah.
They're not like regular cameras and capture so many frames per second. Typically, it's a lot less.
yeah.
The actual frames themselves aren't new frames. They're, if you look at motion JPEGs and how all that works,
Yeah.
overall, it's really not good evidence unless it's super crystal clear. And if you get anything like that, that looks like good, clear evidence, people are 100% going to say it's fake.
Yeah.
But, when it comes to Loch Ness Monster and Nessie, you're going to see the same style pictures a million times. A flat loch, like nice water, and then a ripple somewhere. And somebody's like, that's Nessie. And it's kind of not.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Roland Wilson happened to catch 3 photographs of what he thinks is the legendary Loch Ness Monster. And this is on the western shore of the Loch Ness. So, and the photos, if you look at them, it appears to show a large hump that measures around a little over 3 feet in length.
Yeah.
And there's a white line approximately 3 feet in front of it. So they say that the head, or whatever's in front of the hump, is also about 3 feet. So you're looking at like from hump to head about 6 feet or so, or at least from what they can see with the water. If you look at Nessie being like a plesiosaur or whatever, they have a long neck, so it's kind of hard to say. But
Yeah.
especially when you look at the quality of the pictures. When the picture looks good and all, blow it up and the picture gets really bad.
Yeah.
So
I tried zooming in and I'm like,
it's
I
terrible.
don't, it's not making sense.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of game cameras and trail cameras.
Yeah.
They'll say 4K, but the actual specs don't actually equal 4K, get anywhere close to it.
Yeah.
They don't, and they're certainly not going to put a little asterisk. It says this image has been extrapolated, to where it just takes a very small image and then digitally blows it up to make it match the 4K or 2.7K dimensions, which just means you just dilute the image to the point where it's actually worthless to look at.
Yeah.
And so this elusive creature is still elusive. But, I figure we should talk at least once about Loch Ness. It's been
Hot minute.
We didn't even do it for the entire year.
Yeah.
2025. It's 2026. And said, let's talk about Loch Ness.
Yeah.
So it is, there you go. But it's daily record. And since we talked a little trash about England
Yeah.
and the UK, United Kingdom and stuff, that includes Scotland and Ireland, even though they don't want to hear that. The Scottish and Irish are like, what? No, don't count us in. But if you go on vacation, chances are you're going to go to 1 or 2 of the 3 because you can.
Yeah.
But I'd still like to see something, like a good picture. So this California mom was camping with her son and her nephews, and they were awoken by a possible Mount Baldy Bigfoot throwing rocks at a tent. If it happened around here, it might be like, a local resident was throwing rocks at a tent.
Yeah.
Right? So, Mount Baldy Bigfoot. So I'm not exactly sure what the deal is.
Oh, so they had the same camping experience as like when we first moved to New Mexico.
Yes.
So they didn't get out or set out for their drive until late.
Yes.
So it was a dark drive up the whole mountain
Yes.
with her son and 2 nephews. They arrived at the campground and it was deserted except for 2 tent sites.
Yeah, it's happened to us. That's
Yes.
like a lot, actually.
Yeah. So they decided to choose the site nearest the bathrooms and go ahead and start setting up camp. So the teenagers found spots with the least amount of slope, cleared rocks and stones, and then pitched a tent. They had a fire and they were listening to coyotes before going to bed. The coyotes made their way into the campgrounds, keeping them awake until one of the campers set off a car alarm, which sent them back into the woods.
Yeah.
That's kind of, yeah.
Kind of smart.
Yeah. They fell asleep until an unplanned early morning visit. At 3:30 a.m., I was woken up by the sound of rocks hitting the ground, like 10 to 15 rocks hitting ground from being thrown from a distance and then rolling a ways towards us. Not pebbles. It sounded like substantial rocks. Okay. So the rocks were hitting the side of the tent where their heads were, but none of them ever ended up making contact with the tent. This Bigfoot had great aim and the ability to judge the rolling of a rock like no other. They were scared, motionless through this whole ordeal. They were trying to figure if they were in danger of a rock slide or if there's something walking above the location of their tent. None of those were likely. And they think it had to have been Bigfoot.
Well, they found rocks the next morning. Went outside by the tent and they found about 8 rocks, baseball to softball size.
Yeah.
Roundish, and they're about 4 to 10 feet away from the tent. And they were dry on the bottom as opposed to the other rocks that were wet. So they were able to determine this rock's been here for a while, this one has not, right? So the one that had been thrown is a one that's not, had been stuck in the ground or whatever. So, and plus they cleared out all the rocks. You don't want to sleep, you have your tent and sleep in rocks.
But my thing is, why didn't they first think it might have been one of the other campers? I mean, if the other campers also set off a car alarm to scare off the coyotes, then could it have been the other campers being awake and noticing coyotes getting too close to these guys, so they threw some rocks?
I mean, sure, anything is possible, but at the same time, when they were looking at it, they also heard a long howl that didn't fit in with the other coyotes. And if you go with the theory that Bigfoot has like coyote pets, and uses them for all sorts of things, right? It starts to make more and more sense. Well, we thought we were having rocks thrown at us by angry people
Partying, yeah.
Yeah, because all the hooping and hollering and running through the woods, and we thought people were riding around like on their ATVs throwing rocks and stuff at us, and there was nobody there the next day because we were in a place where nobody goes. And we were thought, well, look at the good fortune of being able to camp here, and there's no one here. And every time we went back in that area, there was never anyone in that area ever.
Yeah.
And even the people, when we talked to the ranger guy, he was like, yeah, don't go there. What are you doing? No, don't go there. Nobody goes there.
Yeah.
And we're talking the busiest time of year because the campground up there is free. So people show up early, snatch the good spot because they're going to be there all holiday weekend having a great time.
Yeah.
And where are we? Nobody's around. We're like, look at the good fortune we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got your dog looking out the van window, staring at a stump all night long, making the noise.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know something's going on, but I'm not brave enough to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then it was gone the next day because I looked at it like, this is a stump. Like, no, it was not. Big rocks.
Yeah.
And then guess what we found out later on? People are like, that's Bigfoot, bro. And it's like, well, how do you know? And then what? Finding Bigfoot?
Yeah, here's an episode of Finding Bigfoot.
Oh, here's 3 episodes of Finding Bigfoot about the area in which you were in New Mexico with people having sightings. Here's the town hall with people saying the same thing. Here's
one where Bobo is standing there getting interviewed right where your campsite was.
Yeah, in the same spot where you couldn't fly your drone because the magnetics were so bad. That thing would just fly off all crazy. That whole spot is weird.
Yeah.
And I like... my spider sense says, that's crazy. That's Bigfoot. Your spider sense is basically like, that's a mountain lion, which I think your mountain lion feeling is a Bigfoot feeling. Because,
So now that we live out here, my bear feeling is a Bigfoot feeling?
No, your bear feeling, if your bear feeling is a bear feeling, bear is bear.
Okay.
You feel freaked out by a bear and scared. But when you get it like a Bigfoot feeling, it's like, I think it's a difference. Where you're like, I'm going to die. With a bear, you're like, you're going to make yourself all big. Hey, bear, trying to run them off, right? So you feel like you might be able to survive. There's even T-shirts about it, like how to fight a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the level of fear that you get it's a different kind of fear. Like you can be scared of something, and then you can just be like scared to the core.
Okay.
And I think that's a whole Bigfoot thing. Because you're always scared of mountain lions. I think, What? There's nothing wrong with that. You can tell people, hey, I'm Omi. I'm afraid of mountain lions. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's legit. Especially when they follow you and you're trying to walk backwards and stuff. You just know if you're going to fall.
One time I had both the dogs and tried to hike this place called the Silver Forks Trail. And it was a deep bowl at the end of the Sandia Mountains. And from across the bowl, I saw a mountain lion on the trail.
He was just waiting. It was like one slip.
And I
eat you.
turned around with both the dogs and almost ran into a mountain biker who was like, what's going on? And I pointed, and they squinted, and they're like, oh my God. And so we all went down the trail.
Yeah.
So.
Is it the same mountain biker that had to do his business in the woods and set a little piece of toilet paper fire on?
No.
Set a little piece of toilet paper on fire?
That's
and
Idaho.
Burned like Idaho. It's like, yeah. That's fucking, it's like, just bury it, bro.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, I want to protect the environment, so I'm going to light it on fire and set half of Idaho on fire.
Yeah.
Because we actually talked about that when we also talked about being in Jemez, where we had a Bigfoot experience because Jemez caught on fire.
Yeah.
So it was all sort of related. I don't know. There's some details there that make me think there's a possibility that maybe they had some Bigfoot thing. If they didn't say anything about a Bigfoot howl or a long howl that was different than all the coyotes, I'm like, it could have been anybody throwing rocks. But if you're close to your neighbors at a campsite, would you just start throwing rocks at them?
Some people.
You know why I wouldn't do that? Because somebody might go, there's just me and you.
Yeah.
And somebody's throwing rocks. I didn't throw rocks at myself. It must be you.
Yeah.
And that could be a confrontation. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, a lot of people, when they go camping and stuff, they exercise the ability to protect themselves, and they bring firearms just in case a bear, hey, bear, comes to try to get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so she started telling stories, or just basically relaying their experience, and her sister was the one that started sending her stuff about Mount Baldy Bigfoot and some of the stories that go along with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're a Bigfoot investigator and you told me the story, you're like, You just get some rando who's like, yeah, man, I didn't even know it existed until, and it's like, ooh, does that make it more credible or?
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
But it's got some of the markers.
Yeah.
It's like, random party goer, camping person, or Bigfoot. Probably Bigfoot. Kind of nuts, though.
Yeah.
It was familiar. We've had the same or a very similar experience. Except we were, that's just random, drunk people just throwing stuff. So then later on, it's funny. We were actually parked on a road.
Yeah.
And it was so not busy. There was no one there.
Yeah.
And we were there in a road till like 10 o'clock in the afternoon when we decided to get up and get going. If it was busy, we'd have had to move. And we were like blocking the only way out of this place.
Yeah.
But people don't go there. You know why?
Why?
Bigfoot. Scary stuff. That's the same area on the other side where we've seen a black bear running for its life.
Yeah.
This maybe 200 to 300 pound black bear running down the hill.
It was a cow first and then a bear, wasn't it?
Well, a cow was earlier back. The
Yeah.
bear was just down a further stretch of road. That thing was fleeing.
Yeah.
You could see its big bear eyes run across the road, and it ran right past the dude unpacking his Subaru Outback. That's how close we were to it.
Yeah.
That thing, I've never seen a bear run like 35 miles an hour like that. So what scares the hell out of a bear in a campground where they're used to eating like picnic basket stuff, right?
Yeah.
Something big, man. Something scary. He was running like he was running from a predator. And you with your arms are going, hey, bear, hey, bear. I don't think he's going to be more scared. You know what I mean? It just,
Yeah.
Yeah, that freaked me out, man. Like, holy moly. And that place had plenty of things to eat. The big elk just standing in the middle of the road. We almost ran derby dirt boxing that thing at 35 miles an hour. It was huge.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we were like, man, there's an elk here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, holy moly, look at that. That's an elk. Yeah.
It's funny that it went after the bear because there was cows out there and they were not bright.
No.
Remember those photos I was taking, like hide and seek champion? It's a cow and it was behind like this super skinny aspen tree.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of cattle are free range. They just, they cruise right across. They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horses too. But the horses are like, hey, man, you got an apple? You got something for me to eat? And they come right up to you.
Yeah.
You stick your head in your car. I'd like to eat an apple, please. What do you got? And the horse lips. You know how they move their lips and their teeth don't move?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Baldy Bigfoot. Lots of stories. So speaking of Bigfoot, you know, George Knapp, who's been investigating Bob Lazar and Area 51 and all sorts of weird comings and goings for a long time, is now doing Bigfoot stuff.
Huh.
And investigating some of the Bigfoot claims that are out there.
I thought he was never going to do Bigfoot.
That's what he said, but evidently things have changed. And he has a YouTube channel where you can watch this video.
Oh.
And if you like George Knapp at all, who I do from listening to him on Coast to Coast and stuff, he never seemed like he was in it for the money.
No.
You know, he was just reporting his thing. Because there's a lot of investigators that I feel that have sort of added themselves to the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say who it is, Jeremy Corbell. One of the last movies I watched, he spent the first 8 minutes of his documentary about Bob Lazar talking about himself.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a shit who you are. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you, who cares about what, why would you do that? Hey guys, this is about Bob Lazar. Let me tell you all about me and how I feel about stuff for 8 minutes. Get out of here, man.
You know, some critics have raised that concern, and the argument was, I was just trying to set the premise that people had a better understanding of the background and where I approached this documentary.
Yeah, nobody cares, bro.
Yeah, so.
Your background could be established while you're in the movie talking to Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever done that again. Because you learn real quick, like who, you know.
Yeah.
I don't need your credibility because at the time he didn't have any credibility.
Yeah.
And he still kind of doesn't. But that's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny too because how do I do this? He looked one way for Bob Lazar, and then he looked kind of different when he was hanging around the ex-military dude talking about UFO stuff. Had a sort of a different look to him, right?
Yeah.
It's like, huh? You want me, you know? It's like, oh, I'm hanging around these military guys. Let me look like I'm an operator, special forces guy. You want the guy who just looks the same no matter what environment he's in. Like Bobo will look like Bobo no matter what. You know, Bobo can be standing in the middle of an army base or something talking about, you know, militant Bigfoot and still look like Bobo. Because that's just how he's going to be. He wouldn't be like, well, let me put on some army fatigues and get a haircut and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably would now. He's kind of keeping it short and skinny. Just all the way around. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just, whatever. I'm just kind of ranting a little bit about what I don't even know. But yeah, George Knapp's got a video, starts to investigate Bigfoot claims. And I like George Knapp. I think he's pretty credible.
Yeah.
But I also think he's been able to bring some information and put it out there. But I also think he's, at this point, doesn't care enough to be worried about being manipulated necessarily.
Or discredited.
Yeah, he's like,
he
goes, I'm putting it out there. In other words, I don't think he worries too much about people that are trying to do that. And when he's like, I'm doing the story, man, I don't care. I've been doing this for 40 years.
That's what it is.
So
I think it's like, you know, unlike who you were just saying, Jeremy Corbell, I think we're at a point where George Knapp thinks or believes that he is accredited enough and experienced enough that he can approach topics that previously would.
Well, he's also been through the ringer of the whole Bob Lazar thing.
Yeah.
People like Bob Lazar is fake, and they just went round and round with all of that stuff and just tried to trash him trash him as well for reporting it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he suffers fools because he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't even register as a blip. Or he's like, I've been through way worse. You know, I'm an investigative reporter, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
I kind of look at him as being on the same caliber in a lot of ways as Art Bell. Art Bell, you called in, you did your talk or whatever. He didn't belittle you. He didn't treat what you were saying as crazy, outlandish, whatever. He let you tell the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He gave you your due. And you got to like that because there's a lot of places that wouldn't let you do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there you go. I think at this point in the podcast, we're going to wrap it up. We've been talking for about an hour and 10 whole minutes.
Okay.
You know what that means? It's dinner time. I think we're going to have some whatever it is you're going to make.
Oh, thanks. Great.
Yeah, that's what I can do. China food, maybe?
Sure. Why not?
I don't know if you guys have any dinner suggestions for us as we wrap up the podcast. That'd be nice to know. You can actually let us know. We have a toll-free number that we never gave out at the beginning of the podcast, but we've done it 351 other times. You remember that phone number?
Yes, it's 575-208-4025.
Yes.
Or you can...
And you could be like Sarah from Kansas, who utilized it and who talked about how wonderful we sound. Hopefully we sound the same. If you think we sound just as good as last time or even better than the last time you listened to us, let us know.
Yeah, or you can email us too. Contact@creepgeeks.com.
Yeah, you can certainly do that. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. But this has been episode 352, season 10 of CreepGeeks Podcast. Do appreciate you taking the time to listen.
Yeah.
So see you later. Take it easy. Bye, Sickle.
Bye.